Hello ladies and gentlemen of the internet, this is GameEngineStart, my name's Callum, I'm here with Ewan again.
Hello.
And I guess we're going to do this Game of the Year thing,
Yeah.
right?
Are we going to keep up the pretense that we're recording this in 2017?
No.
No.
I mean, it's 2018, we were busy, we needed time.
Things happened.
Things happened.
Yeah.
So we're doing it now.
We're doing it now. And we've spent we basically have a Trello board that sits in the entire year.
Most of the year.
When we finished recording last year, I literally set up the board for the following year. And we just write stuff in the entire year.
As we remember it, or
as we remember, or as we come up with stuff, which is why we've ended up with some really dumb categories this year.
We usually do dumb categories.
But they get added as joke, especially this year. One get added as a joke for one game.
Yeah.
And then we suddenly discovered it applied to
a lot of things. Yeah.
Which will be really interesting to see. But yeah, so the ground rules for people who've never seen us do this before. We are only covering
things that we played.
Obviously, things we've played, which means there won't be any Xbox One.
No.
Or when did you lose your 3DS?
I've got one again. Remember, I bought one of the 2DSs.
We're back with 3DSs. Is there anything else we're not covering?
No, I think silly Xbox.
We've got everything else so far. So
yeah.
We're not covering any Xbox games. I don't think there are any this year, but in order for an episodic game to take place in anything that's not best moment,
it has to be finished. Yeah, it has to end.
Which there is only
year.
one this year, and it technically finished, so that's fine.
Did it? Oh yeah, it was only 3 episodes, right?
Yeah. And I think that's about it.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Oh, and yeah, there'll be spoilers.
We're going to talk very explicitly about very specific moments, so
especially in a category known as best moment.
Yeah.
In which case we'll be talking about
and soundtrack stuff.
For every one of these categories, we want 3 games with a winner and 2 runners-up.
Yep.
Except for the last one, where there'll be 5 in order.
Yep.
I think that was how we decided.
Yeah, it's 5 ordered list, and then we'll have our personal ones that are
mine is
accurate to our tastes.
Mine's currently my top 5 has 8 games on it.
Yep.
Which are unordered.
My top 5 had 8 games on it, but I now have 5.
I
have a list. I'm pretty sure that I'm happy with.
Well,
I keep going back to it, but I'm pretty happy with it now, I think.
Cool. So let's get started.
Yes.
With
2017's 20XX Game of the Year, which is...
does this still... Yes.
A thing that Ewan made up years ago to try and give XCOM awards.
Yeah, so... this category kind of was like the games we missed from last year or a couple of years ago that we suddenly came across that we thought were really good, that we wanted to mention.
Yeah.
So it's actually good that we're starting with this category because we need to make the decision about XCOM, right?
Oh, XCOM 2?
Is War of the Chosen a new game? I mean, it isn't technically DLC.
It's DLC, so it's not a new game.
So it's not a new game. So this is the only category...
It's an expansion to XCOM 2.
This is the only category where it can be considered. Yes. Okay. In which case...
Yeah.
So...
Do you want to specifically put War of the Chosen on this?
I mean, no, because XCOM 2 is...
But is it not like a separate... It's a separate launched thing.
So it can't also be DLC and a separate thing. We need to make a decision about whether...
No, but it's an expansion of that game.
Yes.
But it's... Just because it's a separate executable doesn't mean it's its own game.
Okay, but it does mean that it's a separate thing here.
No, I'm saying that, but do you want to not call it XCOM? Oh, no, because then it would... Okay, yeah, that's fine.
See what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
So what we've got for 2017's 20XX Game of the Year, Final Station, XCOM 2, Elite Dangerous, Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix.
I don't think that's how you spell that, but...
None of those words are spelled right.
I don't know.
It's just Rhythm. Okay, sure. Vanquish and the Technomancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Final Station was that weird pixel art game that you played?
There's a video.
Did that come out in 2016?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because I was going to put it for a bunch of categories this year and I looked it up and it actually came out the tail end of last year.
Ah, okay. That's the flame over effect from last year.
Yeah, the flame over effect, exactly. So there's a video on the site about it. It's a kind of pixel arty 2D survival horror style game.
You're on a train.
You
fight goo
you're
monsters.
A train driver. There's a whole war going on, or a bunch of stuff happening. I really liked what it did with that formula, and what it did with kind of visually, it went a step beyond.
Yeah, when you're on the train, going down the rails, and the background is all moving pixel art. It's really pretty. It's pixel art that I've not quite seen.
The backdrops were the thing there, and especially there's a moment later on. We're just spoiling games now.
Yeah.
There's a moment later on where they talk about one of the kind of overall story things in there is there's obviously some war going on. They never tell you who it's against, but there's a war going on, and they keep talking about. I can't remember, it's been a while since I finished it, but they keep talking about a thing. I think it's just called The Guardian, that is going to turn the tide of the war, or everyone's very excited about getting
Right.
up and running. And then near the tail end of the game, they get it up and running. And there's a section where you leave one of the stations on your way to one of the last ones, and the Guardian's active, and it's just this big fucking robot
Okay.
in the back.
So that's why you like this game.
I mean, yes, but like it's a really cool, like it's just in the background, like just
Oh, is it
stomping
in the
about.
pixel art?
It's in the pixel art, in the that backdrop, and it's super cool looking as you're just driving through.
Yeah.
I really liked a lot of stuff in there.
Yep.
XCOM 2 is here for War of the Chosen.
Yeah.
That expansion significantly changes large parts of that game.
Yeah.
I think XCOM 2 gets a really bad rap. I think it's probably better than the first one.
I want to point out the fact that you put it in most disappointing the year before.
Did I?
Yeah.
How?
Because you said it was buggy as shit.
It was buggy as
yeah.
shit. Well, it was buggy as shit. But now
I understand, yeah, it's way better now.
it's
but
way better. Like they've smoothed out a lot of the issues
Yeah.
in that thing, and it significantly changes how that game plays and how that game interacts. And they took some good elements of the what's that thing from Shadow of War, the Nemesis system. They took that Nemesis system and added it.
I mean,
to those
kind
two
of.
characters.
It doesn't. It's not as dynamic as the actual Nemesis system because the three people are like static.
Well,
but-
the three people are static, but their weaknesses and
oh yeah, they're yeah.
randomized.
But it does provide a whole like there's a whole other layers in that game,
There's
like the whole
multiple
faction system.
Yeah, like there's
and-
more stuff to do, like in between the core story stuff. And
Yeah.
it has new story stuff on there as well. And then you've got the three new factions, and there's all of the kind of in the Geoscape level. They've got all the kind of perk. No, I can't remember what they call them, like perk things.
There's the whole black what's it called,
can't remember.
guerrilla ops thing.
Assets or guerrilla ops or whatever
Yeah.
it is, but like each faction you gain cards from them, and like you set your card for that month and
Yeah.
what they do and all that kind of stuff.
There's whole other layers to it, which
Yeah.
is just
I
really
will
hard
say
to-
I still haven't finished it. Like there wasn't a lot of games.
I think
came out
you've
this
ever
year.
finished a game of XCOM.
I haven't,
but-
right? But I haven't finished this one in particular. I have restarted it once.
Yeah.
And
Despite really loving these games, you've never
I've
actually
never
finished a
finished
game of
one.
XCOM. I don't even think you finished a game of XCOM 1.
I didn't, but a lot of shit came out this year.
Yeah.
Is the reason why like I had to push myself.
There's a lot of things on this that will be like X happened, but a lot of shit came out. So
Silly. I think the rest of these are yours.
kind of, yeah. Well, Vanquish not really.
Vanquish
but yeah.
not.
So Elite Dangerous it came out in 2016 and kind of sat on the internet for a while, kind of with people talking about how crazy it was and like there's all the trade mechanics and how big the universe is and all that stuff. But then the news came out about the alien
What are they called?
Thargoids, whatever it is.
Thargoids,
I think. That started happening where it was like really, really subtly implemented, where people started finding weird alien artifacts.
Yeah.
And then people doing that game started scrabbling of being like, what the hell does this mean? How does this work? Blah, blah. And then someone met the aliens for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was literally the first time in forever in video games where everybody went, what the fuck was that?
Like that would be one of those things which, if we'd played it last year, would have been best moment.
Yeah. Because it's just like you've no idea how it works. No one's ever seen it before.
Yeah, and like
It
watching that YouTube recording or the YouTube video of that guy meeting that thing,
Yeah.
like even not being there,
Yeah.
like, it was chilling.
It was terrifying,
It
yeah.
was absolutely
So
terrifying.
I picked it up because of that,
Yeah.
and then got involved in how mental that game is
Yeah.
for a good few months with my friends who are like experts at it.
Yeah.
And Christ, that game's insane. And
The fact that we never got a video done of it for the site was because every time I would ask, you'd always be like, there's more I need
Yeah,
to know.
I
Like, I don't feel
kept-
confident talking about it.
I got
yet.
to the point where I felt almost ready to do a video of it because I had like 3 or 4 different things I could have done if one thing had fallen through,
Yeah.
and then something else would happen and they'd have this whole other branch of the game that I'd never seen
Yeah,
before.
exactly.
It's really good and it's impressive and
And they're still supporting it. Like
they
the
support it so well.
The fact
and
that all these things of the Thargoids have kind of
yeah,
progressed.
there's now a whole war going on,
Yeah.
and there's a whole like there's actual like morality in that game that isn't to do with game mechanics. It's actual players being moral,
Sure.
which is bizarre.
It sounds
and
like a more approachable kind of Eve style.
it's
in
more
terms of,
approachable
like-
in the sense of like it's not all about numbers,
Yeah.
but it's also just as mental as Eve.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
yeah. Rhythm Heaven Megamix.
This is the 3DS.
This is the 3DS one that came out in 2016 that is essentially just like all the best bits of every Rhythm Heaven game slammed into one game.
Yeah.
Which on its own
I
is
mean,
amazing.
Yeah,
like
Rhythm Heaven's
Heavens
a
are
great series.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them doing a Switch version.
Yes, that would be
Switch
really cool. And they also they also like added this like narrative component of like to actually unlock the games. You go through this journey with
really?
this little teddy bear with an afro trying to get him home to heaven. And then you get home to heaven, and it turns out your mum has gone insane. And there's a whole thing.
Okay.
And the writing's actually like kind of funny.
It's always been kind
and
of
really like clever.
Yeah.
So it's just this kind of shocking thing of not only is it the best Rhythm Heaven game ever, but it's actually kind of like there's more to it.
Sure.
And they have that backstage wrestling mini game in it.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Thing's great.
And the monkey watch thing, and
the monkey watch.
it's all great. It's all fantastic.
Huh. Okay.
Vanquish we both played because it came out for PC this year.
That PC version came out. It's a really good PC version. Apart from the 60 frames a second bugs, which they fixed eventually, but like that is a solid PC version of that game. It got me to play through it again for like the 4th time.
The game's very good.
Vanquish is a really good
It's
game.
a very good game.
Not much more to say about that. And then Technomancer. Did that?
Yeah, so let me tell you about the Technomancer, right?
But like,
So
was
see,
that this year that we talked about the Technomancer?
so
quite a
like
lot?
Earth's dying, right, and water's really important. Mm-hmm. So there's not a lot of water, and then there are these people that can control electricity called Technomancers.
Yep.
You're one of them, and it's all people. I just put it on just because I want to talk about Technomancer again.
No, but what
I
I'm
didn't
saying
play
is-
it this year. I didn't play it in 2017. That's all. I
Was
just
it
wanted.
last year? I remember
Yeah.
talking about Technomancer
It
conversation
came out in
last year.
2016.
God
I
damn
didn't
it.
play it in 2017. I
Okay.
really just wanted to talk about the Technomancer.
So we can eliminate Technomancer then.
No, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the Technomancer. There's another game. There's a game that came out called Elic or something like that is supposed to be like
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic Technomancer, and I
Yeah.
really want to play it, but it's like
Is it not-
45 quid.
Is it also not really bad?
Technomancer was really
No, but,
bad.
Technomancer was cheap.
Yeah, it was like a B movie.
Yeah.
So is this.
Okay.
Um,
No, but I thought Elec was actually bad. Okay. Okay, so what do we feel? I think Rhythm Heaven's probably a good shout.
Yeah, Rhythm Heaven's probably in. You probably want XCOM. Do you want XCOM or do you want a Final Station? I don't really know.
I would like both.
No.
But, the fact that I never finished XCOM is.
Do you think that's like?
I think like.
I don't think finishing it matters in this. It's
Yeah.
whether or not you feel like
But
it
like,
was.
it's more the fact that like I really enjoyed it, but still not enough to actually finish it. But also that game takes like 50 hours to finish.
Yeah, it's a long thing.
So the thing is, like, Elite Dangerous sounds.
I was gonna say that Rhythm Heaven and Elite Dangerous, both to me, are the things that I really care about. Like Vanquished, it didn't really change a whole lot. It just came out
Vanquish is
again.
Still that game. It's
and we played it again.
Play it without pulling out PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Final Station was a great find that I randomly like. That was Final Station was the Steam Discovery thing doing its job properly.
oh, was that Steam Discovery? Did
It
you
was
just
on my
find
queue,
it randomly?
and I was just
Oh,
like
okay.
flicking through my queue, and I was like, "What the hell is this thing?" And it was like it's like £7 or something. Like it wasn't expensive.
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
And I really enjoyed what they did with it. XCOM's real good though. Like
I think we can safely say that Vanquish and Technomancer aren't making it.
No.
So it's all about.
Yeah. Like, Rhythm Heaven Megamix is a way for you to play all the Rhythm
It's
Heaven
the
games.
best Rhythm Heaven game, like
But that's
because it's
because-
all the good
yeah,
bits
exactly.
of Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
Like it
And-
would be on more categories had it come out this year, but it hadn't.
Okay,
so.
I think XCOM 2 is the third,
I'm okay with that. That's fine.
because
'Cause I've seen War of the Chosen stuff and it looks pretty different.
and also because like there is no foreseeable way this will be on next year's
no,
discussion.
if you try another year to get XCOM on this list,
this category has basically been XCOM every year
yeah,
since we've
pretty
done this.
much. You've done XCOM twice, I think.
I will say like Final Station is real good, and people
Oh yeah,
should go
yeah.
check
People
it
should
out.
play Final Station. It's
They should look at
a
the,
cool game.
the site for that. So let's take them as the three.
Yeah,
Do you have? I mean, what would you pick as the one?
I mean, Elite Dangerous probably.
Probably like.
I mean, it's the second year in a row that we pick a space game, but I don't.
What was
care.
last year's?
Rebel Galaxy.
Oh right, yeah, it was. Huh.
But Elite Dangerous is
Elite Dangerous is
so impressive and
Yeah.
so massive, and things are still happening in it that I care about, and
I'm kind of okay.
it's insane.
Okay, I am starring Elite Dangerous.
Cool.
And
But do you know about like the whole war thing that's going on?
bits
with
and pieces. Like I follow that game, having never played it.
Jesus, it was like they developed like anti-Thargoid weapons, and people started using it, and then a group of people were like, no, we can't kill them. There must be some other way.
There's an ethical conversation.
And then there's like there are like people who are treating it like research. There's like people who are trying to take the sound clips that they make and decipher it as a language.
Yes.
To then play back to them. It's mental.
My favorite moment from the early Thargoid stuff was when there was a guy who, like, when they started trying to see if they could hunt them.
Yeah.
Or how to take them out, and the guy got caught by one, could not escape, and threw an escape pod full of people in his ship at the Thargoid, and it ate it and disappeared and saved themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
That was insane.
That's in there.
Which is like 3 or 4 different things that are all mental, all coming together all at once. Like, why does he have an escape pod full of people? Because you can do like slave trafficking and stuff like that in that game.
He threw a box of slaves at this thing. Like, that's ridiculous. That's
it's crazy. Elite Dangerous is like amazing little thing.
Okay, yeah. So Elite Dangerous is our 2017's 20XX Game of the Year with Rhythm Heaven Megamix and XCOM 2.
Yeah.
As a follow-up.
Yep.
I think it's pretty good.
Did you star that?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So next is best looking game, which is a kind of combination of actual technical.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, like, because when we start looking at the games that we like looking at, there are like 3 ways of doing it, right? There's like art direction, there's technical capability, and then there's just fucking style.
Sheer style.
Yeah. So
which is kind of a weird combination of the other two, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just like, which game do we think looked the best?
Yeah.
It's a kind of combination of all of those.
So we've got Horizon Zero Dawn, That's You, Prey, Pyre, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Persona 5, Absolver, Cuphead, and Subsurface Circular. Yeah. I'm surprised I said that last one.
It's really difficult to say.
There's a lot of mouths going on in that.
Yeah. Horizon looks real good.
Yeah, it just all over just looks very good. Like, everything about it is.
Yeah.
It's not only like technically very good, but they like stick to that whole post-apocalypse thing.
Yes.
Quite a lot. And all the tribes have like unique styles, and all the people react in unique ways. And
I've seen some arguments for, like, I do like the combination of, like, kind of, there are totally legitimate issues of like some cultural appropriation stuff in there when you're talking about like the kind of tribe design that they've kind of taken bits from. But the bit I do like about that is that they've combined like the kind of stereotypical tribe thing with, like, especially when the guys that are featured in the DLC pack,
the Frozen Wastes thing.
The ones that have like tamed the beasts. Like, they've got like the wires in them and stuff like that, and like.
But all the tribes have done the kind of tribal thing that's incorporating like the metal plates, and so
like
it's this fusion of new and old thing.
Yeah, and there's like lots of wire holding things in. It's a really imaginative way of presenting that world.
The only knock I have against it is that the like facial stuff sometimes is a bit crap.
The problem is that it's very much treading that line of it looks so good that when it fucks up, it fucks up bad.
So it's got that Life, to me anyway, it had that kind of like Life is Strange peanut butter in their mouth thing that looks like people are just talking.
The one for me was who's the guy that you meet early on, like the kind of head of the guard of
I can't remember the names of that.
But the guy with the goatee,
the beard,
the beard and the goatee, like, he seemed like his voice actor was doing a lot more work than that facial capture could actually handle.
Yeah,
like he was a really good voice actor, but I just felt like they weren't expressing it properly.
There was something off.
And the same with Aloy, like her performance was real good.
Yeah, Ashley Burch did a hell of a job with it.
Face capture didn't quite catch it, so I can see that.
But it generally looks very good, and the robot designs are amazing.
The robot designs are great.
That's You. Is that weird?
That's that quiz game.
PS3 like
it was their
Jackbox style thing.
Their PlayLink thing. Yeah, that game was trash.
Yeah,
but
it looks
really. That game looks good. Like, for people who haven't seen it, it's kind of like get to know your friends style quiz game, and the kind of overall aesthetic of it is like.
You're like traveling to different areas.
Like
so you're like going camping in the woods, or it's back at school.
Leather stamps and Visa collectible buttons and that kind of stuff, and it looks really fucking nice.
It's really high detail.
Like one of the scenes you can go to is like you in a tent, and like the translucence of the tent and the thing out in the distance, and like there's animals that go by, and like so much detail for a really kind of nonsense not trivia, but like a nonsense kind of party
social game.
Like they put some effort into that thing. That I wasn't expecting.
And like even when you get into like more dense, like the classroom area and stuff like that, where it's like there's actual things, like all the erasers look insane, the backpacks look good, but it still has all this like light scattering and god rays and all that stuff.
That really surprised
It's a really good looking thing.
Yeah.
Prey
Looks fucking awesome.
Prey does look really good.
This is the definition of like, not particularly more technical. Like this is art design through.
Yeah.
Like
it's all that Art Deco.
That is. It's not Art Deco, but like
It is.
Is it Art Deco?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing as BioShock. It's Art Deco.
Yes. Sorry, you're right. It's kind of like Art Deco, but taken into like the like slightly further on to when they launched that station. All the like every part of that game just feels incredibly well designed, and especially when you
it's thought about. It's
when
definitely
you do
thought about.
when you do the jump between like the bits where people are supposed to live and like the back end stuff.
Yeah,
that's great. Actually, when you do look at technical stuff like the Looking Glass,
that's
is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that, but it's
one. Yeah, like it's one of those things that you look at and you go, I have zero idea how you've done this.
The glass that acts as a screen, but it almost superimposes on the environment. So it's like they're in that.
It's
place.
like that moment. It's like the breakout moment at the start of the game when like you smash through that first glass and you realize there's a backstage.
Yeah, you're in a stage.
Like,
yeah,
because it worked. Like I knew it was coming, but the effect of like you can look at your window and that's just there.
Yeah.
Like it's like skyboxes times a million.
Yeah,
like, I've never seen something do what that thing did.
Insane. And the style kind of like permeates throughout the whole game, especially when it starts like the entire station starts getting taken over. Yeah, like the art design just like changes completely into
once
this.
It starts getting infected by
all the corals everywhere and
and also,
it's a really good looking thing.
Even stuff like the weapons, like the weapons feel like
I love the
shotgun.
Yeah, the little screen on the side of the shotgun.
Screen on the, like,
it's just great.
Like there's no reason for that to be there, but I'm so glad it is.
Yeah, and the fact that it's not even like a static counter, it like rotates and auto updates is an amazing little bit.
And then you look at stuff like the Q beam, which is
it's like shakes the entire time,
strapped duct tape together.
It's very like hey, we've got a problem and we need a solution for this right now. So they strap this thing together.
Just strapped a car battery.
And when you sit and charge it, and the entire rig just shakes. It looks good and it's cohesive, which is
for sure. Pyre is really nice.
The hand drawing in that is some of the best art I've seen.
And they've continued to do the thing that I really appreciate from Supergiant, where a lot of the animation stuff is 3D done in 2D, where like the wagon itself, when it's talking about, like, that's all 2D sprites, but obviously rendered from a 3D thing.
Yeah.
All the dunk animations.
Yeah.
All the character animations in the rights are really nice. Like that fire as well is 2D, but done
in a 3D model.
In a 3D way. And just like
the art is.
You want to talk about consistency? Like,
it's everywhere.
There's a lot of variety in there, but it all feels like it's come from the same world and the same.
It's a very well built world. Like everything, it all makes sense and they explain it, but it's also just kind of apparent in the art that these all things just kind of work together.
Totally.
But it's just, it's almost just raw art ability in that game.
For
Like,
for sure.
Because it's like 90, but half of that game is just kind of like visual novel. But so it's just static images. But they're all incredible. Like it's amazing character designs. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice,
man, like
it's a hell of a.
There are moments in that game that were like unbelievable to watch.
Yeah,
like the moment where you because you finished it, right? Yeah. The moment where you go into hell, is just
Helheim. Like, especially when you go and actually meet Hela.
Yeah,
when the entire world's like turning upside down and stuff's breaking apart.
But just like it's not hell, they call it like the
Helheim.
When you actually go in there and just like. The thing that game does really well is like things hurt to look at in a good way.
Yeah.
Like there are moments in that thing which is like I don't like anything that's going on the screen, but it looks amazing when it's doing it.
Like one of my favorite bits is when you fight the beast. Yes. Like after you finish fighting the beast, it pans all the way out like back up because you fight him by going down a whole pillar.
Yeah.
And it pans up, and instead of having the player like physically go up it. Mm-hmm. They pan up the entire pillar and show Senua kind of like walking out of different doors, just as a really quick way of getting you back up to the.
Like another part of this would be like camera work almost.
Yeah, it's very good cinematography.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Well shot, and also you can't say enough good things about the facial capture of that. Senua, it's incredible.
It's probably also like one of the best uses of FMV I think I've seen in a while.
Yeah, really clever FMV. It
feels right that there's a fully CG character next to these actual FMV actors.
Yeah,
and it kind of like the kind of slight separation between them feels okay because of like her mental state at the time, and it all feels subtly dreamlike. Like there's something about the way as well that it looks, where the fact that it does a lot of depth focused stuff, where like there's a lot of stuff where like stuff really up close is the only thing you can see and everything else is blurry. Like it emphasizes the kind of the fact that she's trapped in her own head for some of it, and like it's
very narrowly focused,
and really, and then again like the audio bit, like the sound only bit that is very dark, like that's just, they don't ever show you the horror thing that they're
it's made to disorientate you.
That's that. The Hellblade is incredible.
Persona 5, you want to talk about consistency of style?
Like
Persona 5 oozes style out of
I've
literally
played,
everything.
5 hours of that game now, and it just looks so good.
It's
like
an incredible thing.
Every part of it, and it's like it's all these little details, like the moment where like when you're in combat, and I can't remember what you push, but the button that does the where you can tell the rest of your team members how to behave, whether they do direct commands or all that stuff, and you hit the button, and like whichever character it is you're controlling at that point, like their shadow like bursts out of them, in the same pose that they're in, to a different like, and everything just flows together,
like, and it goes from like the UI in combat, which is like your standard JRPG menu, but everything flows together of like when you press attack, the entire UI kind of shifts and moves, and it's all very dynamic, to like the menu where you're picking like items and equipment and stuff, where it starts with the kind of like art drawing of the main character, like ready, and you pick something and he changes and the menu goes with him. All
the menus of that thing just look like great with the main characters.
It's all moving around and posing, and then at the end of combat when you do the run, and it does your XP and your money and stuff, and you hit OK at the end of it, and the camera just pans back and you're in the game again.
It's the single best
nuts.
It's the single best use of like 3D mixed with 2D at the same time, where like everything feels like it's all interacting with each other, and like fantastic use of like fully silhouetted characters on backdrops that animate right and do all this stuff.
And then like the character designs are all great from like from their like boring high school life where they just look like high school teams to when they jump into the I can't remember the name of it now, the castles, the palaces, that's the one, and they get their cool garb and all that stuff. All the persona designs are really detailed, and they all have like unique idling animations, and it's just this phenomenal little thing.
It feels like it should be there for like best art and most art.
Like there's it does have a lot of art
in that game.
You can tell that they spent like 10 years making that game. It's
but they've all kind of
they all have really really good art design. It's just in this there's a lot more of it, and it's a lot more consistent, and because the entire thing is so dynamic, it just feels like everything flows in.
There's also like, I don't think I think it gets glossed over a little bit, but like their representation of like real life Japan is like fucking spot on. Like the stations and stuff look identical. It feels right.
It's even the little thing where it's like you're in the station and you go through a gate and your main character just like swipes his card. It's just a little touch that is great. It's so good.
Absolver, that's what's your I get what
Absolver. I just want to talk about it because it was not like, it's a game that could have very easily had a very boring art style, like a very basic man-on-man fighting thing, but instead they went for this kind of like watercolor. It's not quite cel-shaded, but everything's kind of...
I felt kind of bad when we recorded that video, actually, because video compression ruins that game, because there's a lot of flat colors and kind of sharp edges that like YouTube compression stuff
blurs
wipes away a little bit. But like seeing that game in action, like the straight up recording that like the source recording that you sent me to do it, like it's really sharp.
It's a really, and the animations for the combat all look really good because they have to. Like, you have to have
such
it.
a core part of that game.
And it's good that they did that because it means that the actual fighting it factors onto the gameplay in such a heavy way that it's important. I just really like, and the designs of like the armor and the masks and stuff are all really good.
That stuff looks so nice.
Wanted to give it its heads up.
I don't know about Cuphead. Nah. It's not like, I mean, it's not a right game, but style, like,
I mean,
fuck me, that game. Like
I don't think there's enough that you can say about how good Cuphead is.
And it's
like,
it's so consistent. Oh, it's not even this consistent. We're using that word a lot.
Yeah.
It's comprehensive. Like, it's every part of that.
That 1930s.
When somebody says to you, like, hey, they're making a game based on, like, 1930s cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, your head immediately knows what they're going to go for.
Yeah.
And you're even seeing the stuff we'd seen before it came out.
Yeah.
You're like, there's no way they can keep.
Well, that
this
was the way that everybody kind of got to know that game was like really, really quick at first at that, like, I think it was an Xbox conference when they were going through all their indie things. I immediately saw it and everybody went, what the fuck was that?
They never spent any long period of time with that game.
No.
It was always like 10-second parts of trailers.
Because everybody would go, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
And it was gone. And it was...
and just like every single part of that game has that style just imbued into it. Like everything from like the press start screen.
Yeah.
Like
Cuphead and Mugman doing their little dance.
Dance with the music, and like I don't...
The film grain or not film grain, like camera grain or whatever in video games normally annoys me.
Yeah.
I turn it off as soon as I can. Works perfectly in that game.
And it's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it's... Yeah, like...
And it's like, when you boil down into it, and it's like all the animations for both Cuphead and Mugman themselves, but all the bosses are all incredible to look at, and like are all... You can see the kind of delicate work that's went into it and how much it...
And it's also like I don't particularly like that game.
No,
but the fact that they managed to get that much animation and style into something that still plays, that still fulfills everything it needs to be that hardcore a platformer.
It's incredibly precise, and
like, because it feels like when you're doing that kind of stuff, because a lot of things like that where they're trying to make animation such a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many frames of animation, it makes it feel kind of floaty, or like it doesn't react well. Like that thing
it's
feels
sharp.
really good.
It's really sharp.
On top of just looking like that.
And it's a style that I don't think I've ever seen in games before. No one's ever done it before. And these guys did it and nailed it. Yeah, because like who would do that? Who would do like hand drawn?
So much work.
Yeah.
To get that thing, and it's not even it's not something you can even just cheat with filters or
shaders. Those guys just did it.
Like you have to just do it the way it needs to be done. And there's no cheating either. Like there's not, like, I expected a lot of the style to be kind of in like post-processing and stuff on top, and the actual character animation will be like, there'll be 3 frames of animation, but they'll do like their tween stuff will just be modified frames. Like they drew every frame for that thing.
It's all hand drawn.
Everything's like they haven't cheated anywhere.
From the like little animations when like Cuphead runs and you see like tiny bits of liquid come out of his head, to like how detailed that some of the boss animations are. Like everything is all just hand drawn. It's
nuts, that thing.
Yeah. And Subsurfer Circular, that was that weird mystery game that you played.
Yeah, it's the small like visual novel kind of thing from Mike Bithell and his team. Is
the style I would call for that game.
It's such a good, like, it's a futuristic, like, very futuristic robot style
detective
thing, and like there's a way that you could do that style, and I think it does something above and beyond that. There's something about the design of the robots, and I know this is me talking, but like the UI and font work in that thing is amazing. Like,
is it not very Destiny? Is it not just like the circle that you...
That's an interaction thing.
Oh, you're talking about actually how to look.
I mean,
the design of it, right?
And like the fact that it's the whole game set on the underground train, and like the map itself is a really good, like, it's the New York subway system look to it, and that blends into like bits of the UI, and the robot designs work really well with, like, if we had a category for best intro, like, I think that might be...
It was very good, yeah,
like,
the intro was very good.
Super stylish, that thing. I really want to see more from the artist involved in that.
Yeah.
His stuff looks amazing.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to come out top here,
but it's something you need to talk about,
Not only is it really well written, like, visually it looks amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to move Cuphead up this list.
You're probably right.
Yeah. I'm going to move Persona up this list.
Yeah, and this is where it becomes super difficult.
Now, I don't know. Because I think that... So the not knock or anything like that. Like, I don't think Subsurface Circular makes it. I don't think Absolver makes it. I just need, those were things that needed to be talked about.
Sure.
I think that Prey, while is very consistent, is a style that has been done before. Because it is very Bioshock. I understand where you're coming from, where they've adapted it more to being in the kind of near future space kind of thing. Everybody's wearing cool spaces. The character designs in that game are really cool as well, but it's just kind of like exaggerated humanity.
And I mean, I suppose like the creatures are all very
similar.
They're very similar.
Yeah.
They
look they're cool and they do different things, but they all look the same. They're all just dark shadows.
Yeah, kind of. So what you're obviously leading up something.
No, I'm just going through it. Like I'm just trying to like weed it out. Is my point?
Yeah, like I think it has to be Hellblade, right? Like nothing.
The only thing I think that could compete with it is Pyre.
They're so different.
And they're very, very different. It's whether I like.
The thing is, like the thing I think that Hellblade has above it is that the visuals impact. They impact both gameplay and story as well.
Yes,
like
I would say that's
true. A lot of the visual stuff reflects very clearly on what Cinema's going through as a character.
Yep,
and they have gameplay implications on top of that. Like we'll talk about it in best moment, but like in that forest, the first time they started throwing eyes on trees, I fucking lost it. Yeah, because that was a moment where it's been the only time games are really bad at like. And I think it's because of the nature of how they're built and the people involved in making them.
Yeah.
But games, if they spend a lot of time doing something or a lot of effort doing something, they want to make sure the player sees it.
Yeah.
And they don't make explicit reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it did the thing that it's supposed to do, where I turned and went, wait, that... No, and then it's gone. And then, like, exactly what they were going for because they don't talk about it. And I think that edges Pyre out for me a little bit.
I would agree.
Like, I fucking love how... And also, like, if you want to make the same kind of argument it does with Prey, like, Pyre is a style that's not that dissimilar from what they've done with
it's very much the Supergiant style. It is
an evolution, and it's probably...
It's a
I really like Transistor.
Yeah.
But, like, I think it's an evolution of the stuff that they've done before.
I think it's like... It's more like Bastion than it is like Transistor. And it is definitely an evolution of that because there's a lot more detail.
And again, the thing out of all of this, like, if you wanted to pick a game I want to put something on my wall with, like Pyre's up there.
Yeah.
But I think Hellblade does.
Yeah, I would agree that the fact that it looks so good impacting on the game itself is kind of important.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark these three as the top three.
Yep.
What
wins?
Yeah.
I mean,
like Cuphead is an achievement.
Cuphead's undeniable how good that game is, like, or how good that looks. Sorry.
Yeah, and
it's it's so different, and it's never been done, and it is just like a labor of love. It's something that they wanted to do, and they did it, and they pulled it off so successfully
with a small team.
Yeah.
For like on a, I mean, they took forever to do it, but they did it with a small team on a budget title. Whereas then you look at Persona, which is like a huge studio working for...
It still took forever.
Like it took like, what, 1,200 years? Like something like...
Is it 12, I think? I can't remember. Between a long time.
I mean, they were doing other things.
Yeah, they made other stuff, but between Personas was a long time.
Persona looks so good.
Yeah.
Like,
it really does, and there's a lot of...
It's... As a man who doesn't like JRPGs, like, at all...
Yeah.
And really got burned on them a long time ago. Like going into that thing, the fact that the art manages to smooth over a lot of my issues with that, with some of that stuff, which is like even the small stuff, like the flow from finishing a battle to getting your XP results to getting back in the game. Like that's all just a smooth art transition the whole way, in a really smart way of doing it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm only 5 hours in, so like 50 hours it might wear thin.
I still found it impressive. It really keeps that game moving. Like it's not. There's not the kind of static like screen that you get from other JRPGs that really break stuff up.
I have not had a game in a while where the first time I went into battle and I hit that button to do the attitude change. Like I just sat and hit it for a while. They can't be doing this like and I kept poking bits of UI going, how the fuck? Like,
It's one of the favourite things that only occurred to me fairly recently was like in the equip menu, the further you go into it, the main character is just like doing more and more aggressive things. Like he starts off normally and then you go to equip, and he like backspins,
Right.
and then if you go to equip a knife, he stomps you on the ground, and like it gets further and further in, and the animations just get more and more like aggressive the further you go. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's between those two, and I don't know how to break this because they do such different.
I think that personally for me, I don't think I've seen a better game a better looking game than Cuphead like this year.
I agree, but
that it's like completely undeniable. Like you like the style and the way that it plays, not the way that it plays. Sorry, the style and how unique it is made people that wouldn't have played it and that I know that didn't really care take notice and be like, what is that thing?
Yeah,
like it's because it's just so unique. Like it's so individual and different. And
like I grabbed, when
I knew you wouldn't like Cuphead that much, and you still played it.
And after I brought up and I was playing it, and I was like, I was bringing people into the room, going like, you
like look at this, look at this. Yeah,
like I'm playing this. This is not a video.
Yeah,
like, I'm playing this thing. Yeah. You're. I
think it has to be Cuphead.
I can't argue with you, but fuck me, Persona.
I know. Believe me, it hurts me most.
The fact that you can make that decision as easy as you are says a lot about how much.
The fact that I'm not putting a Persona game that looks that good at the top, it says a lot about what Cuphead's doing.
Yep, I can take that. So I'm gonna mark Cuphead as our best looking game.
Yep.
With oh god, I've messed this up.
Persona 5 and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yes.
As our runners up.
That was tough.
Yep.
Yeah. So next we have the best VR thing.
I mean,
category.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
So this is kind of a special one. Some of these games did not come out this year.
No.
But this is the first.
We only had access to VR last year.
This is the year we've had access to VR, and it lived up to so much that I expected from it that I had to have something in here to say how cool some of this stuff was.
Yep.
So the best VR thing, we have Echo Arena, Robo Recall, Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, Hand Grenades.
Oh, that's what H3 means.
That's the abbreviation that people seem to use.
Sure.
Rec Room, Lone Echo, and Super Hot VR.
Is Lone Echo different from Echo Arena? Oh, they were one thing.
Lone
that
Echo
got
is the single player, Echo Arena is the multiplayer.
Got you. And Super Hot.
Is there anything else I've missed in there? What else have I played that I thought could go on?
Not that I can think of anyway.
They were the big ones. Like
the ones in my head are all on this list.
They're the ones I cycle through whenever I set up VR. Yeah. So, I mean, Echo Arena and Lone Echo to start with. So they are the things that they share. They're both the.
Are we saying that? Sorry. Are we saying this is just like the best overall VR thing?
What was the best thing you did in VR?
Right. Okay, that's fine. So it's not necessarily like best use of virtual reality. It's just the best thing that you did.
I think that also implement some of it.
Cool.
So Lone Echo is the single player version, and the Echo Arena is the multiplayer thing. Both from Ready at Dawn.
Yep.
Both using a very similar conceit, which is it's all zero gravity, and the motion is that you grab elements of the scenery and pull yourself in zero gravity to move around. You do have little thrusters in your wrists, but that's the kind of main way you get out. So Lone Echo is your single player, where you're a AI powered robot who is on this space station, a mining station, with one human crew member, and you're there to stop her from going insane. You're there to have human communication with her so she doesn't lose her mind. And shit goes bad real quick in that thing.
Is that the game like you couldn't finish because
the game I couldn't finish, which puts it as a weird thing. But also, the things that I really liked about it were again, you're talking about interactions in VR, right?
Yeah.
You have the fact that we're doing this as a video makes this a lot easier.
Yeah.
So on your hands, you have two buttons. You one on the top of your wrist and one on the bottom of your wrist. The one on your top of your wrist is makes a scanner. So you hit that and it folds out into your hand, and you can scan things to get information on them.
Right.
And like you scan things to get the data, and when it says 100% data, you literally pull the screen out, and it's like a VR screen, like a light screen that pulls out, and then you can position it somewhere, and like that stuff's cool. And then the one on your bottom of your wrist is a laser cutter, so you can hit that thing. And as they teach you a lot of this stuff, you end up coming to stuff that's like, oh, I need to laser cut, and like without even thinking, like
you're
hitting
naturally
the thing in your wrist, and it works every time. Like it didn't not work every time. The downside of Lone Echo is I couldn't finish it because the later section of that game, when theoretically some kind of alien life
Yeah.
is there, you had to fly down a corridor that was filled with the kind of alien spore things you can't touch, and the corridor got so tight that I got claustrophobic and I had to rip the headset off my head.
Okay.
Like, it shows how like, I'm saying that because I want to show how effective VR is for people who haven't done it.
Yeah.
But like, everything up to that point was amazing. Like, it's proper like puzzle solving and very tactile, like grabbing stuff and pulling stuff and fitting things in and manipulating machinery, and like it did that really, really well.
Yeah.
Echo Arena is same kind of movement mechanics, except that it's like a 3-on-3 disc throwing
Sport
multiplayer game.
Yeah.
This was special, one, because it was like it was a cool idea as well. Like, it is.
Yeah.
It's just it's the game from Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Basically. And that motion works really well in that kind of environment.
Yeah, when you're like flying
for
around
me, it was
arenas
the moment of, once you do the tutorial stuff, there's like the big lobby area.
Yeah.
Where you like find a game, or like join your friends, or there's a training area, and there's like screens and how you can customize your avatar and all that kind of stuff. And I floated into this thing. It's all in game.
Yeah.
In engine. There's no menus, and I floated in. I was like, okay, I've played around. How the fuck do I start a game? And I'm looking around, and your microphone's on by default in that game. So I'm floating around going, how the fuck do I start this game? And two robots just float in.
Yeah.
And grab like part of the wall in front of me.
Yeah.
Just like dudes from like, they had like a Birmingham accent comes on and is like, are you looking for a game? I was like, yeah. Talking in VR was something I needed to get over. I was like, yeah, I can't figure out how to actually start a game. He's like, oh, come here. And he, like, hand tracking, like, waved me over, and we glided over to the main console thing.
Yeah.
I was in front of the console. He was kind of holding on to the back, and he was like, if you just want to play, like, and he was just said, like, if you just want to play randoms, like, he leaned over the console and pointed at the button I needed to push to say, this is the button.
It's a cool tutorial.
And I was like, thanks, and he floated off.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest thing.
It's social interaction in VR.
Especially with the motion controls, that looked like a human being doing that.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out the first time it happened. I don't think it's a very good game. The interaction stuff is nuts. Yeah. Robo Recall.
Fuck, I love Robo Recall so much.
Probably the best thing I've done in
it's
video
just
games this year.
Dumb arena shooter thing, but man, it's so funny.
It's what happens when you take VR and don't take it. Like, you don't. A lot of the VR stuff I've played, especially, and there's been a lot of this shit this year, and I'm not trying to shit on Unity at all.
Yeah.
Like, engines have nothing to do with this. It's about the priority that developers have to, like, work with that stuff. But if you do, like, the default, what feels like the default VR thing in Unity, it is 2 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Where if you hold something in front of you, the tracking's good on Oculus, but it's enough where it's like, it's a little bit jittery.
Yeah.
Robo Recall smooths all of that out, where everything feels rock fucking solid.
Yeah. You feel like you're holding.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a warp around shooting gallery, but like, as far as I can tell, it's still the best motion I've done in Oculus.
Yeah.
With the point.
But it's also like, saying it's just a shooting gallery is like, I think that it's a shooting gallery with a lot of, not a lot of, but it has character. And like,
oh, it's got so much character.
The voiceovers are kind of like, they're dumb, but it
like
works.
That, like the boss creature in there, like, it manages to do the internet humor thing in a way that made me laugh at it.
Yeah.
Which is what they're intentionally, like, it's intentionally being dumb with
being
that
dumb
stuff.
And also it's just fun. Like, it's a ton of fun to just shoot robots.
There's enough depth to it as well, where like, if you turn difficulty up or you start going after the challenges that are on there, actually, like, it totally changes how you do that game. Like, one of the challenges I had to do was I think it was just called like martial artist, where it's like, don't fire a gun, the entire thing. So in order that you need to get up on people, start ripping people apart.
It's also like one of the good things you can do in VR, which is like everything just kind of happens naturally. It's like the first time you hit a robot and you teleport behind it and pick it up and try to rip its arm off, and it totally works.
Yeah.
You're like, oh cool, so you rip everything off it, and then you have one of the spider bots that starts beeping and it jumps at you. So your human instinct is to go, and you do that and grab it, and you're like, oh, it works. So you throw it back at people and it explodes. It's a good feeling in VR. Like,
one of the things I've had to learn in VR is to try and read a person and know what their best first experience would be after they've got used to actually just being in there. And Robo Recall was really good for people who have played a decent amount of video games before.
Yeah.
Are just like we're just gonna get you in and like shoot shit.
Yeah.
And that works surprisingly well. Where like just point a gun at things and shoot it,
and it works.
Everything you need to do based on those interactions works as you expect it to.
Yeah.
And even the little things where like you can be super stylish in that game, right? Like the tossing of guns at robots.
It's the fact that when you throw a gun at a robot and it bounces and it reloads, you can like, just start juggling guns everywhere.
Doing that martial arts challenge, like there was a moment where it was one of the ones we got to like it's just you're in an area, it says take 20 out.
Yeah.
I warped over to a bunch of two robots, grabbed one of them, ripped an arm off it, threw him over the side and hit the other one in the head with his arm.
Yeah.
Like you just feel
like a badass
ninja.
And a lot of you do.
Brilliant.
Hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades is
that's really weird because that game is pretty janky in really weird ways, but
it's incredibly precise in other ways.
It is probably the thing I've played the most in VR.
Yeah.
Because there's something about like accurately modeled guns, and there's almost enough stuff in there for you to do with them that makes it make sense. Like it's not just like a target shooting gallery. Like there's enough customization stuff you can do on there. It's like here's the arena, we'll spawn things into it that you can then fuck with. And like I would spend hours like in that small pre-gen area just being like, okay, if I spawn like 20 of these things in like groups of 3, what's the best way I can think of taking that out? And you'd go up to the thing and start loading up and say, okay, I want this gun with this attachment and that goes on here, and I want this gun with these things on here. And like if nothing else, I think it's valuable because it shows you how difficult it is to reload guns.
Yeah, how to actually use a firearm.
Under fire.
Yeah,
like it's because
they get the gifs online everywhere of people just trying to reload a handgun and just like bouncing off things
because
you're not
easy. It's really not easy, and the amount of times when like, especially when they do updates to add new guns to it.
Yeah,
there's a couple of times where like, some of the more esoteric stuff I'm looking at, going, how do you reload? Like,
how does this even work?
Where does the thing go? And where's the safety and all this kind of stuff? That thing's really good. And like, if you want to talk about developer interaction, like that guy does. I mean, there's a team, but it's mainly one guy that does a lot of the kind of not PR work, but like one of the main developers anyway.
Yeah.
Like he does really good like 20-minute developer videos every update.
Oh yeah, he like goes through stuff.
He does it in VR so he can show all the stuff that's
how
there.
everything works.
And then he does the stuff where he's like out of VR and does like bug fixes and like super good. Like here's what's here now. Yeah. Here's how it works. And they've done a lot of updates for that thing, and I really appreciate what it's doing.
Yeah.
Rec Room is the weirdest thing I've ever
Such
played.
a bizarre little thing. But...
So for people who haven't seen it, it's a social space with mini games.
Yep.
Kind of mini games based on like a college campus, or it's themed around the college campus.
Everybody's kind of like a weird team.
You have your own dorm, which is your own room. Where you can customize and then there's like the lobby area, and all the kind of quest stuff is done by the theater departments. It's all like kind of like wooden stand-ins, and, like painted stuff. It's again,
it's a weird little thing
because the interactions with other people.
That's mainly about the interactions with other people.
Yeah, and it's a really good one for showing the like people acting like people. Where the first time you go into that lobby and everyone's just shouting and screaming.
Yeah, it's all like, just noise.
It feels like you've walked into like a. The hell was that? What was that play area we used to go to as kids with like the ball pits and the slides? One of them.
A child soft play area.
Yeah, like it feels like you've walked into one of those. It's like everyone's fucking shouting and
there's everywhere. Over. And it's just like when I did it, I wasn't used to like communicating in VR, so it just kind of triggered every like social thing I've gone like I can't do this. Like there are so many people all talking all at once, and
then the other side of that, especially when you go into some of the quest stuff, where it's like it's a team. Like the quest stuff is like a team activity where it's like up to 4 of you and AI control stuff, and you have to move through this level to get to the end of stuff. You want to talk about great interactions? Like if you get shot and you go down in that thing, the way you revive people is people come up and high five you.
Yeah,
like that's awesome. That never doesn't.
Oh
feel
yeah,
brilliant.
and you how do you group up again? It's like that, isn't it? It's the fist pump. Yeah.
To do that. Also, there's another interaction that's really really good that I can't remember. Oh, if you want to mute your microphone, you can do this.
Oh, does that mute your
Which
mic?
will mute your
That's pretty
microphone.
cool.
There's those are guys that are like. It feels like those guys are permanently in there, like just doing interaction that would make sense to you.
What makes sense to this? Yeah.
And everything feels really good. Like it's not particularly janky, like throwing stuff and shooting stuff.
No, it
and,
all feels
like,
good.
It all feels pretty good.
And
it's
those
free.
Those paintball guns have that drop on them.
Yeah.
That
It feels really good.
Yeah.
And it's free. And I cannot imagine a better ad for like here's the shit you can do in VR.
yeah,
Like, it's so cool.
it's a
that
really
thing
cool little
exists.
thing. And then the Super Hot VR, which is
They made
insane.
They made that game in VR, and it is the closest I felt to being John Wick in a game.
Yeah.
Like
It's the kind of the way I saw it was kind of like it's almost the opposite to Robo Recall, because Robo Recall is all like flash and
Robo Recall's complete
action
chaos.
and go things and blah. Whereas Super Hot, because it's like it becomes very precise and you repeat stuff over and over and over again. It becomes more like performance and
a
like
choreographed
dance
routine.
and because you get to the point where you know where everybody is, where everything is that you need to be at any given moment, and how people are going to work.
Yep.
So you just start flowing moves and guns and throws into one another, and you get to the end of it, and you feel like some sort of god. It's insane.
There's one of the early levels in that thing. Because it warps you about different parts of a level because you can't physically move, so it warps you about different parts of a level. And there's a section where, like, after you killed someone and move on, you get dropped in the middle of a bridge with two groups of guys, two groups of two coming at you from either side, and they drop two shurikens in front of you.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I'd done it so many times, it was so choreographed, I didn't even look.
No, you just
I
throw
grabbed
them.
those shurikens and threw them to the side and got them.
Yeah.
And it's
great.
feels so good.
And it's still got the Super Hot thing of feeling good of like you take someone out and grab their gun midair, and it's a great feeling little thing. Yeah.
That stuff's great. Okay, how the hell do we do this? I think Robo Recall has to be there.
Yep, I agree.
I think Rec Room has to be there because like that thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you Rec Room. That's.
And
I don't know what you would put on this list, but I would put Super Hot there.
yeah, like Lone Echo is amazing, but I didn't finish it.
I mean,
that's my own fault.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing that you can factor into this, but it's not. I mean, it's up to you. Like, I didn't play Lone Echo or Echo Arena.
Also, like every one of these, I've not had any problems with motion sickness.
Yeah.
Lone Echo damn near made me throw up.
Sure.
But I get why, and I don't think that's a fault in the game.
No, I doubt that's
think
a
it's
fault in the
one of
game.
those things I think it might be hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades.
I mean, that thing's crazy.
The thing that it does is like, it's so good at what it does.
Yeah, like it's doing that thing perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's that. Like Super Hot is really good, but like there's not a lot in there.
Sure, yeah, that's fair. Whereas that is getting like updated like every other day or whatever every other week.
It's not VR.
No, I mean horseshoes.
Oh, horseshoes, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's getting updated all the time.
constant content in that thing.
I'm okay with that 3. That's
So Robo Recall, Rec Room,
and
hot
horseshoes.
dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this.
I mean, I know what I would vote.
I think it has to be Robo Recall.
Yeah.
Like
That game's awesome. Like that even just taken as like a game is good. Like
It's
it's
a
just
solid one
fun.
of those things.
Like
it's a thing that only works in VR because of the things it's asking you to do
yeah.
would be really difficult to do.
The only thing that I want in Robo Recall is like a sword, like some melee weapon.
Like-
but even then, you can tear like a hand off.
So
and
like
use it,
I
but
might
it's-
end up picking up raw data because that seems like Robo Recall with a sword,
Yeah.
but not as polished.
Sure, yeah.
Purely because it gives you the sword.
Yeah,
Like,
I just want a sword. That would be. But yeah, Robo Recall's like amazing.
It has to be Robo Recall.
Yeah.
Like it's the only.
I think Rec Room, while is a really cool thing, is. I'm trying to think how to put it. It's dumb, but I just didn't connect with it in the same way that you did. Like
I just thought it was. It was. I just thought it was so weird. Like,
it's a weird thing.
A lot of these are really good introductions to VR.
Yeah.
In different ways. Where Robo Recall is like, here's just how you manipulate shit in VR.
Yeah.
Rec Room is like your social tutorial for VR. It's like,
This is
here's
what
how
people
you
like.
deal with people You're right there.
Sorry.
Here's how you deal with being around people socially in VR.
Yeah.
Here's how you deal with having a microphone that's permanently on, hearing people
React to
around
what
you,
you're saying and what they're saying.
watching and hearing people react
Yeah.
to you, dealing with people being in your face.
Yeah, that can
is
happen a lot.
Weird,
Yeah.
and Rec Room kind of, because of the art style, kind of abstracts it away enough
Yeah.
to the point where like the bit I was saying about Echo Arena, where like those robots look so human and have eyes,
Yeah.
and that was too much as an early on thing, like.
But having this kind of like
But
cartoon
having that
teen
cartoon
in front
style
of you,
and
yeah,
just seeing the hands and the face reactions,
yeah,
was enough for you to start to get used to people. And again, like I will say, like Rec Room, one of the best moments I had with Rec Room was one of the quest things where there were 4 people in there. I'm sure I told the story in the podcast, but
Probably,
that
yeah.
mum,
the what? Sorry.
the guy's mum.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
That was brilliant, and like just working as a team, everyone helping, shouting instructions
Yeah.
of where people are. Like that was awesome.
Yeah,
But it's Robo Recall.
yeah, it's Robo
Is
Recall.
the best VR thing
Yep.
in 2017. With Rec Room and Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. As runners up,
Yep.
VR is awesome.
VR is awesome.
Really
I
good.
really
like
like
the
VR.
fact that we have this set up to do recording. Like I'm gonna go set up VR once we're done here
Yeah.
and like play more. It's great.
Okay.